Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he established by his own lifestyle the ideal principles for each ashram. In the age of Kali Yuga, the Lord appears in his devotee to teach us how to be devotees. When Lord Chaitanya was a grihasta, how he served. It is described that one time he invited 10 or 20 sannyasis to his house for prasad. And just at noontime, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, and then the sannyasis came, and everything was prepared so nicely. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu greeted them, he gave them a sitting place, washed their feet, spoke sweet words. Then he personally, with his own hands, he served them prasad. And it is described in this connection that Lord Chaitanya taught that householders' first duty is to be charitable. Because the tendency of a grihasta is to become greedy. The modes of nature are very strong. You start making money and you think, I need more and more and more and more. And the more you have, the more you think you need. It is the trap of Maya. Actually, simple life is so nice. If grihastas live simple and give whatever they can to help others become Krishna conscious, they'll become happy. But the more we try to hoard, the more miserable our life becomes. Why? Because the farther away we are from the mercy of the Lord. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whatever he had, he just wanted to give it in charity to deserving persons. And he established the principles that the grihastas should strive to give 50% of their income to propagating Krishna consciousness. People may say, this is very difficult, but it's a matter of our sincerity. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught that one must be very charitable. In fact, he said, if any guest comes to a grihasta's house, if they are not received with sweet words, a nice sitting place, nice prasad, whatever you have. If you're poor, you give water. If you're rich, you give nice prasad. He said, a guest that is not given these basic principles of love and devotion, he said, that household is the household of a beast or a bird, not a human being. Hare Krishna. And Lord Chaitanya was always in such a mood of a servant. After he returned from Gaya, he was so much desiring to serve. Although he's the supreme Lord of the universe, he's the master and husband of the goddess of fortune. When he would see the devotees, he would humbly bow down to them. He would take dust from their feet on his head. He would take their clothes and wash them. He would fold their dhotis. If he saw a devotee carrying something, he would take that load and carry it all the way to that devotee's home with his own hands. And the devotees would say, there's no need, I can carry, but he would carry. And then the devotees were so happy. When you please a devotee, the nature is they give their blessings. When you please a devotee, they pray to Krishna to reward you with heartfelt prayers. So the devotees began to bless him. Lord Chaitanya was so grateful to receive their blessings. He said, well, I am so fortunate. Because you have blessed me, certainly my life will be auspicious. And because you are great devotees of the Lord, certainly the Lord will fulfill whatever you say. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not begin his preaching mission until first he received the order of his spiritual master and the blessings of all the Vaishnavas. Because he wanted to show us that nothing could be auspicious without the order of Guru and the blessings of the Vaishnavas. And with these blessings of the devotees upon him, then he began propagating the Harinam Sankirtan movement and distributing pure love of Krishna in the mood of the residents of Vrindavan throughout the whole of Navadvip. So Lord Chaitanya was such an ideal, exemplary grihasta. And his wife, first Lakshmi Devi and Vishnu Priya, they were all day just cooking for guests and cooking for the deities and making nice designs around the temple and making everything so lovely so when their husband would return, he would be so happy and peaceful. And in reciprocation, Lord Chaitanya was also like that with his wives, always protecting them so carefully, making them so happy and providing them the most wonderful, wonderful example of Krishna consciousness. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu and Vishnu Priya were the perfect ideal householders that all householders should strive to follow in the footsteps of. And as far as a disciple, what kind of a disciple was Lord Chaitanya? He taught every aspect by his example. How to be a husband, how to disciple. When he approached Ishwara Puri, he presented himself as fool number one. In fact, Ishwara Puri said, You are a fool. Don't bother studying Vedanta. Just chant the holy names of Krishna. Vedaham samatitani varatamanani chaujana. Although the Lord Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he knows everything past, present, and future. He's the compiler of the Vedas. He's the knower of the Vedas. He's the goal of the Vedas. When he was before his Guru, he approached, I am fool number one. He didn't say to Ishwarapuri, I am Nimai Pandit. When Ishwarapuri said, you are a fool, you should just chant Harinam. He didn't say, I defeated Keshav Kashmiri. He was Digvijay Pandit. He traveled all over the world. He defeated every scholar on the planet, and I defeated him, and you're calling me fool. He could have said, yes, I am the greatest fool. And he took the order of his Guru Maharaj as his life and soul. You just chant Hare Krishna, and you just spread this chanting of Hare Krishna all over the world. Lord Chaitanya humbly, menially served Ishwarapuri. He fed him prasad with his own hands. He cleaned up after him. He massaged his feet. And he obeyed his instructions so carefully. He was perfect disciple, perfect grihasta. And when he entered into the renounced order of life, he was the perfect exemplary renunciate. How he lived in his sannyasa ashram. Devotees were offering him all kinds of luxuries. Jagadananda Pandit would bring him fine oils. He would give it to Lord Jagannath. He would make beautiful bed. Why is he giving me sense gratification? He would just live so simple. Even if devotees were in pain, sometimes his devotees would cry. When he was traveling through Jharkhand or through South India, he would bathe 3 times a day, sometimes in ice-cold waters. He would sleep simply on the ground. He would do madhukari and beg for food. He lived the perfect example. His relationship with the opposite sex was so exemplary. And his sadhana, what need does the Lord have to do sadhana? He was chanting his own names just to teach us. So Lord Chaitanya was so strict. What an example. When he was living in Vrindavan, he was in Akrura Ghat, staying that night. And every morning, very early after taking bath in Jamuna, he would walk all the way to Imlital. It's several kilometers. If we were to walk from Akrura Ghat to Imlital, it would take several hours. But he would walk there every day. And he would sit under that Imlital tree on the banks of the holy river Jamuna, and very strictly, according to his regulative principles, he imposed upon himself, he would chant japa of the holy names of Lord Krishna. And how Lord Chaitanya not only respected his Guru, but other senior Vaishnavas, Advaitacharya, Paramananda Puri, Brahmananda Bharati. These devotees, they were senior Vaishnavas. Some were godbrothers of their Guru. He would worship them and honor them just as his own Guru. He would always be seeking to serve them and receive their blessings. And how he would embrace the devotees. And he would give them garlands and give them sandalwood with his own hands. And sometimes he would take the dust of the feet of all the Vaishnavas. As a sannyasi, he was not thinking, everyone worship me. Gopi Bhatur Padakamalayur Dasa Dasanudas. I am not a sannyasi, I am not a brahmachari, not a grihasta or vanaprastha, nor am I brahmachachya vaishya shudra. I am the servant of the servant of the servant. But yet he followed his varna and ashram perfectly. He did not neglect the regulative principles of his particular varna and ashram, but it was always in the spirit of the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord's devotees. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went through all this wonderful, wonderful, transcendental sacrifice just to teach us the way to live, just to be an example. And we are all meant to imbibe that example in our own life. Srila Prabhupada wanted all the members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness to be leaders of society. And how to do so? Simply by being proper examples and cooperating nicely to serve his divine mission.
You were listening to Radhanath Swami on thesacredconnect.com.